Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to your award-winning podcast. This is your host, Amaka. This is the Letters and Layers podcast where we talk all things wellness, mental health, streams of consciousness, personal insight, books, and everything in between. Welcome to any new listeners. Thank you so much for joining me for the last episode of 2025. It is 9 a.m. on the dot Central Time, Monday, December 15th. So you're catching me as close to real time as possible. This was not the plan. I had planned to record this earlier, but my weekend was super busy. I had a Christmas party to go to on Saturday, and I volunteered to make a dish for the party. I made some jerk chicken, which came out pretty good. It was this recipe from a book that I bought a couple years ago, or maybe like a year plus ago, called Flavorful by this foods influencer slash chef. His name is Nathan. I'm blanking on his last name, but his Instagram page is the Grubworks Kitchen. I'll put it in the description in case anyone is interested. I started following him at the beginning of the pandemic, maybe 2021, and he was just starting out. He probably had like less than 100,000 followers at that point. So that's not really starting out, but like compared to where he is now, he has well over 500,000. And his recipes have always been great, primarily Jamaican Caribbean flair, but he, makes anything and everything, and it just looks so good. And then when he came out with a cookbook, I was like, oh, I have to get it. So I bought it, but I have not made any recipes in it. So when I volunteered to bring chicken for the party, I was like, you know what, let me see if this recipe has any chicken recipe. Let me see if this recipe book has any chicken recipes. And it did. It had the jerk chicken recipe, which was rather involved, but it came out really well and everyone enjoyed it. The pan was empty by the end of the party, so I was happy to see that. So yeah, that was my Saturday. I even started the prep for the chicken on Thursday. After we had our staff meeting for work, I got going on putting all the ingredients together to blend the marinade. And then I washed the chicken, dried it and just marinated it with the marinade. And it was in the fridge for a day and a half because then I brought it out Saturday morning and, just started the whole baking process. So yeah, that was Saturday for me. And I had to take a quick trip to Costco Saturday morning too. So a lot was happening. And then yesterday, Sunday, I went to an art exhibition at the Art Institute of Chicago with a group of folks. The Yale Black Alumni Association has different chapters across the country. So the Chicago chapter, I'm good friends with the president of the Chicago chapter, and she asked me if I'd be interested in co-hosting, kind of planning this event, putting it together. So we sent an email blast out to the Chicago members and a few people responded. So we went as a group, it was 5 of us, to see this exhibition of Elizabeth Catlett's work. She is a Black woman who her work was focused primarily on Black liberation, slavery, the impacts of segregation, and, just everything from the past to present, or at least up until she died. She died in 2012. So that was a beautiful, beautiful exhibition. We spent about an hour there, maybe a little less. And then we went to this restaurant called The Gauge across the street downtown. It was also a really nice dinner with the 5 of us. Some of the folks I had met previously at another event, and one person that came, I was meeting her for the first time. Interesting story, older Black woman, probably in her 70s, I'm guessing, has been, working in law for like 40 something years and is now primarily working in like civil rights and prison reform. So it was cool to talk to her. But yeah, that was my weekend. And then I came home and I kind of crashed. I called my friend, we chatted for a bit, and then I kind of crashed. So yeah, I was like, you know what? We have to do what it do this morning. And that's why we are here. But, you know, I think sometimes it just works out this way. I prefer not to record on the day that I'm supposed to publish, because just in case there are any like flukes or anything with technology, but usually it works out. And I just feel like I feel a little closer to you guys, because it's like, you know, it's almost like I'm talking to you guys for real. If you're, you know, listening the day of. So yeah, that was my weekend. And this week will be pretty busy work-wise. Socially, I don't have much going on. I think I have a brunch on the weekend for another friend whose birthday is coming up. But other than that, I think it'll be a pretty low-key weekend. And then Christmas is pretty low-key for me too. My husband is working on Christmas, womp womp. But you know what? I'm not gonna feel sad about it. The way I'm reframing it for myself is like, this will probably be the last Christmas I spend alone. Ever. Maybe not ever. But honestly, for the foreseeable future, and when I say foreseeable future, I mean like years. This is maybe my last opportunity ever, if I want to spend Christmas alone, to spend it alone. And even with that, I'm not alone technically, because this little baby boy in here who's baking, he is active. He's active. My midwife told me that since my placenta is anterior, that I wouldn't really start feeling him until the third trimester. And I don't know if I've explained this on the podcast already, but an anterior placenta means that if you're looking at me from the front, like you see my face, you see my fronts, you know, then you're essentially looking at my placenta, because my placenta is attached to the front side of my belly. Some people's placentas attach on the side of the uterus. Some people's placentas attach on the back of the uterus. And in those cases, the mother usually feels the movement sooner, because there's not really a pillow or anything blocking, you know, the sensations in the front. But after 2 ultrasounds or 3 that I've undergone, the placenta is anterior. So the general thinking is that, you know, I won't feel much movement. But no, ma'am. No, ma'am. He makes his presence known several times a day. And, you know, I don't mind it at all. I'm kind of used to it now. And if like an hour or 2 goes by, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of touching the belly a little bit, because at the very least, I'll get like a little tiny like twitch, you know? And then sometimes he's having a party in there. I'm just like, what's going on? Like, you know, relax a little. But yeah, I can feel him most of the day, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It kind of weirded me out to begin with. I'm getting used to it. The more pronounced movements where it feels like he's moving his whole body versus moving a certain part feel very unnatural, you know? So those I'm still getting used to, but I'm not as weirded out as I was maybe like a week ago, because I'm just reminding myself, you know, it's a baby. Like, I'm not mutating. It's not an alien, because it'd be feeling that way. I'm not even going to lie. It's a baby. It's my baby. He's growing. He's happy. He's moving. You know, things are good. Things are good. So I'm not too weirded out by it anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much what's on the horizon as far as the week. And this episode, honestly, I just kind of wanted to recap the year, talk about certain things I'm hoping for 2026, and really just wanted to kind of use it as a means of showing gratitude. I am super grateful for everyone who has listened to this podcast this year. I am super grateful for the award that we won in September or October, a couple months ago. I've said this time and time again, like, you have to be your own cheerleader with things like this, but to be recognized in that way just was so validating and just kind of gave me very much needed momentum to keep going. It's not always about the numbers and how many people are listening and how many hours you're racking up. Sometimes, many times, most times, honestly, the right people need to listen. Everyone doesn't need to listen, but the people that are supposed to listen are who, I'm focused on. The people that need this content, I'm hoping it reaches them. So I'm super grateful to the Black Podcasting Association for recognizing this podcast this year. And I'm just super proud of the content that I put out this year. I think personally, listeners may have their favorites since I, started this endeavor, but I think 2025 for me has been the best year for the content that I put out. I just feel like God just kept giving me ideas for episodes, and I'm not the type of person that I've never mapped out a year of podcast content. I can't do that. I really plan podcasts. Like the max I'll plan out a schedule might be 1 or 2 months. That's as far out as I usually plan these episodes. Because beyond that, I really don't know what I'm going to talk about. Or maybe I'll plan something and then something else comes up and then I push the timeline and everything like that. But it's really just been a testament and a learning experience for me that I really, you just have to take each episode as it comes. And, the encouragement that I give myself with each episode is if you have nothing to talk about, then just talk about your day, talk about your week. Usually I start to develop some insights based off of, what I'm sharing, and then that comes out. And then before you know it, I've put an episode down and it turns out great. So I really still try not to put too much pressure on myself. One of my go-to mantras is the episode does not have to be long. When maybe I'm struggling with motivation or execution or just getting up and firing on the microphone, I'll be like, you know what? The episode doesn't have to be too long. Just get on there, talk about a few things, round it out. And usually, if I'm thinking, it's going to be a 15-minute episode, it never works out that way. It's usually longer. So these are just the type of things that have just kept me going this year. And then just experiences that I've had. There's a lot has happened this year. It's been one of the more active years for me. I did a lot of travel, and I am pregnant. I'm having a baby. I'm starting a family. 2025 for me has been a life-changing year for sure. And for 2026, I am looking forward to not putting so much pressure on myself. I'm looking forward to slowing down. I really don't have a lot of goals planned for next year, and it feels great to say. Because honestly, in my mind, I'm like, what really trumps a baby? Honestly, for myself, all I am hoping for is to have a safe and smooth and uneventful third trimester. I'll be entering the third trimester end of December, early January. So my hope for 2026 is just a smooth and uneventful third trimester and a smooth and uneventful and hopefully not too long of a labor and delivery. And then meeting myself and my baby on the other side. That's really all I am hoping for next year. At least the first half of the year, but really all of 2026. Because I'm like, for me to, kind of get to this point and see the end of my first pregnancy and have a baby and just my whole life changing. My whole life. It'll no longer just be me. It'll no longer just be me and my husband. It's going to be me, my husband, and a baby. And another reason why I said maybe I'll just kind of like enjoy this Thanksgiving by myself, is because I'm just like, by this time next year, I'll have an 8-month-old. He might be crawling, he might not be. He'll definitely be babbling, he'll be crying, he'll be doing a lot of things. My apartment might not look the same. I was just thinking about, honestly, the things I think about. I was thinking about my plant last night. If you've watched some of my the podcast episodes that I filmed on YouTube, you'll see that I have like a big plant in the background. And this plant was gifted to me by a friend who moved out of Chicago as I was moving in. So she was giving a lot of things away, and she gave me this plant, and it wasn't as big as it is now. So I take pride in the fact that it was placed under my care and it has thrived. So I'm just thinking about how like not too long from now, I'm going to have a baby who's like leaning on things to stand up, and then like he might crawl into my office and stand, or like lean on something to stand up and start pulling off the leaves. And I'm like, where am I going to put my plant? I need it to be okay, And I'm just like, a lot of things are going to change, and in the best way possible. Like, I'm looking forward to like all of this. I was looking at the remote in the bedroom this morning, and I was like, I'm going to have an 8-month-old who's trying to like who's going to try and use the table stand, the TV stand, to stand up and grab the remote and put it in his mouth. And I'm just going to be like, wow, what is my life? Oh my God, I can't believe this is all happening. But honestly, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to maternity leave. I'm looking forward to having several months where work is not the priority. And I don't know if work will ever be my number one priority again. I can't say work has ever been my number one priority, but I mean, a girl's got to make money. A girl's got to live. But for the fact that I'm not going to be working for a good 5 months, like, I don't have to think. My mind can just completely pivot to something else that needs my complete attention. And it'll be challenging in its own way, but like, I am up for the challenge because it's just something different and new than what I have been living in for such a long time. And I'm looking forward to it. He's coming right as the seasons will be changing, right as we're going from winter to spring. The weather will be warming up, the trees will be budding leaves, like just the fact that I'll be bringing forth life in a time of the year where new life is coming out, like where nature is waking up, just feels so comforting to me. His first few months in the world will be a time where a lot is going on, where the sun is out, where people are happier, people are outside, people are enjoying themselves. I'm hoping that I am not, in recovery mode too long. I'm hoping that I can get outside not too long after, start taking walks, start taking him to places. I do enjoy a lot of the fairs and activities that Chicago has to offer in the summer. So I'm just thinking about, putting him in his carrier and just walking with him through the streets. Like, we don't even really need to do anything crazy. Just being with him. The only adjustment I think I'll need to make personally is that instead of like maybe Ubering or taking the train or whatever, I'm probably going to have to like drive to my destination and then walk around. So just in case like I need to change his diaper or he needs a feeding, like I can walk back to the car and do those things. But I don't know that much else will change as far as like outings go. I don't know when we'll start like going to restaurants to eat and stuff. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. I don't have much beyond that. Secondary to birth and delivery, I am hoping, my goal is to relaunch my practice. The plan this year was actually to start seeing patients under my own private practice banner. But with getting pregnant, which was planned, but, I guess I thought maybe I could do it together. It would have been too much. So I was just like, this can go on the back burner. But my hope is, as I'm coming back online with work, that I will start seeing patients under my own private practice banner and start to grow that part of my career. So leaving to go on leave, like starting maternity leave for me next year, is me leaving a phase of my life that I'm never going back to, because things are going to change for good, separate from the baby. Things are changing as far as my career, and I am taking a risk. I am betting on myself. Some folks may be like, but you're having a baby, you need the stability, blah, blah, blah. I get that perspective, but I've been planning and preparing for this for a long time. I am thankful that I have had the means of saving and, financially being able to save quite a bit of money for quite a while. So I can live on my savings for at least a year and still have money left over. So I feel like this is the best time, really, to take this risk for myself, because I know it's going to pay off. I know who I am. I know my capabilities. I know what I can do. And I know that I can pull this off. So, I'm not going, completely freelance, quote unquote, altogether as far as my practice is concerned. I will still have a part-time job as a nurse practitioner, but I will be scaling back some of my hours so that I can provide time and space and accommodate the ability for me to start seeing my own patients. So life is going to look a lot different for me this time next year. And that's why I'm like, you know what? It might not be the worst thing in the world to spend Christmas with just me this year. It's not a bad thing at all, because my life will be very different 12 months from now. And that's really all I'm hoping for myself in 2026. Safe, smooth delivery, meeting my baby, him being healthy, us being happy, and slowing down that middle of the year. I'll be working through the end of the first quarter, end of March, and then from April to August will be my leave. And then from September, I will be gearing back up into work. That's the plan. So hopefully it works out that way. And I want to say thank you guys again for supporting this podcast. I appreciate every single one of you. You don't even need to have been a listener that has listened to every single episode. I really see it as a privilege to have folks, have their interest piqued, and they're like, let me see what this podcast is about. And then they press play and just give this outlet, give this medium a chance. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. As far as the podcast for 2026, I have every intention of continuing it in postpartum, because I feel like this will be an outlet for me to just talk about what's going on in my life with a baby. So I plan on continuing. I think if there is any pause, it might be in April, because that's when I'm due. But even if they're 10-minute episodes, even if they're 10-minute episodes, or I'm carrying him and he's cooing in the microphone, I'm sure you guys won't mind. I plan on continuing the podcast. I don't plan on stopping, but I will definitely keep you guys in the loop. Thank you again so much. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or any words of encouragement, any sentiments. Share them at contact@thelettersandlayers.com. Check out my YouTube channel. I didn't film this episode because of the tight deadline. I didn't have time to get ready and set up and everything like that. I was like, we are leaning on consistency today. It is the last episode of the year. So let's just put on our microphone and turn on our headphones and just record. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Check out the YouTube channel. I'm working on I have a couple of podcast episodes that are public, and I put up my pregnancy story yesterday. So if you want to check that out, you can. And I have 2 or 3 podcast episodes that I have filmed that I need to edit and get up there too. And I'm working on a monthly vlog for this month. I'm hoping to kind of make it a thing, like a December vlog, January, February on. So we'll see how that goes. I'll put the link. Well, the link is usually in the description, so it'll be there. And yeah, my Instagram, I post when I feel like it. But again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you in January. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Love you all and take care. Bye.